Welcome back to another Patreon request, and this one comes from Lamanta Benson. This is one that's been kind of long overdue. Like I've said, I've had quite the long list, so I'm trying to get through as many as I can. But if you would like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link below to my Patreon, hit the 4th tier. Not only will you be able to send me requests for videos to do here, but you'll also be able to see exclusive content over on Patreon. So there you go. But like I said, this Patreon request comes from Lamanta Benson, and this one is basically a fascinating Marvel DC story in that in this Marvel DC story is that basically what it is it has the Elders of the Universe from the Marvel Universe teleporting non-power superheroes and villains from the DC Universe into our universe, as in the real world. So, yeah. So, let's get started with this idea. So, in this story idea, basically what it is that the Grandmaster, who's like, I'm really bored. I'm just really bored. And like he really wants to do another Contest of Champions, and he's like, I really want to try this again. Like I think this time around I think I can get it right. Like I legit think I can get this right. And to which he start. But here's the thing: like he's already like aware that the Marvel superheroes are like the Marvel superheroes are like very much like onto his shit. So he is basically like, I just can't go back to the Marvel universe. So I know what I'll do. I'll go check out another universe. I'll go throw some shit at another universe and do some new game, like pull a new game there. So he starts touring the multiverse. Like he's just like, okay, no. Oh, hang on. So he sees the DC universe, but here's the thing: is like he sees like more than anything, he sees like a massive influx of like superheroes that are not powered. Like there's a bigger ratio of non-powered heroes and villains than there are in the Marvel universe. So the Grandmaster basically gets this wonderfully awful idea where he essentially goes, you know what? I know what I'm going to do. I know what I plan on doing. I am going to take all of these heroes and villains and I'm going to dump them on Earth Prime, our Earth. So he starts grabbing like Batman, Green Arrow, like Lady Shiva, Joker, every non-powered character in the DC universe, and like takes them away to our Earth and dumps them there, and is like, okay, here's the deal. I am going to basically have you guys fight each other in this world where you have no tools, no one's coming to help you, and you guys have to survive for a month. Actually, for 3 months. So for 3 months you guys are going to be on your own, and in that time frame you guys have to fight each other, and the winner of this contest will get what they desire from me. So peace. And he just deuces out of there. The Grandmaster deuces out of there to overwatch everything. And then he also throws out another rule of, oh, by the way, if you want to pull out alliances, that ain't gonna fly. Like here's what's gotta happen. Like you all have to fight each other separately. Like you all have to fight one another separately. Like there can't be any team alliances. There can't be anything like that. So, bye. So now everyone's like, ah, crap. We all have to fight each other in a tournament. Oh God. So that's the thing. Now the interesting thing to note is that obviously since this is the real world, they don't have, like, people like Oliver and Bruce don't have millions to depend upon. Like, they don't have, like, massive backing. But here's the thing, in this time frame, Batman's already, like, working on that. Like, Bat budget is already a thing in the current comics, so he's like, I'm already getting used to this. Oliver, on the other hand, has sometimes dealt with this, and he's like, I've dealt with having nothing. Have you seen my fucking island I went on? So he's cool with it. And all the non-powered, this isn't like a major problem. It's just, you know, they have to, like, it's a little harder now because now they don't have a house, they don't have homes, they don't even have resources to depend upon. Even when Bruce does note that he's like, well, even though I was kind of like working on a budget, it was still a big budget. So now he has to work on that. But really, the one who's really adapting the most isn't Oliver or Bruce or anyone. It's Vic Sage. It's the Question. He's the one out of everyone else is like, oh, I know how to do this. I already know, like, how to do this. Like, this is easy. I've worked with way less. So the one who's really, like, handling this the best is the Question, because he's already like, I literally have come from nothing, like, even less than, like, Oliver or Bruce or anyone. So I've worked with way less. Have you seen where I live? Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Anyway, so in this little tournament, there is, like, Joker also is having the time of his life because he gets to play, like, be a serial killer on a grand scale, and he's just driving cops nuts. Eventually, the fights do kind of drag on and drag. And resources are really pulled, and it's also like they gotta avoid the cops. They have to avoid like the public eye. It's really tough, but by the end of it, it comes down to Batman in Question. It comes down to the Batman in Question, and they're like, why don't we just throw the fight? And Batman's like, exactly, like, that's a good point. I surrender. Like, he's been at this for so long. He's like, he didn't realize that the best answer to this question was throwing the fight. So Batman says, I surrender, and the Question is the winner of this. So the Question basically orders everyone, like, all right, we're all gonna go back home. So there you go. So there you go, guys. There's your story. I would like to thank Lamonta Benson for sending this one. I'd also like to apologize to him for sending me this story and taking as long as I did on working on it. Mostly because, yeah, this was, like, there were a ton of Patreon requests to go through, so I kind of had a list. I kind of had a very long list to get through for this one. Anyway, so you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of this? And as always, like I said earlier in the video, if you would like to have a Patreon request done by me, hit the link below to my Patreon and hit the 4th tier and send me a request on Patreon. But other than that, I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.